All right, everybody, here we are. So we're talking about recovery today. And I've already chatted with the group about different things. We shared some wins, some challenges, but we're just going to chat a little bit about recovery principles. This is a document just touching on some different things about how to optimize rest, repair, and performance. So let's explore recovery. So recovery is not just what happens after a hard workout. It's a full system reset, physical, mental, and emotional. We could add spiritual there too. I asked Barbara that question today. I said, "Where are you?
Hmm.
How are you? How's your mental? How are you mentally, physically, chemically, emotionally, mentally, blah, blah, blah." Right. And I asked her to give me a number scale earlier today. So most of us focus exclusively on training and a little bit of nutrition for some, while recovery remains the missing piece that makes everything else work. Lifetime, where I'm at now, actually, we do a really good job of having modalities for recovery. So we have things like a sauna, hot tub. These are things that are not even on this document. We have, well, in the winter, we have a cold plunge. It's called a pool, right? Cold. But we are getting a cold plunge here soon, right? We have hydro massage beds here. We have a cryotherapy bed here. We have something called compression sleeves, Normatec here. All of these things are really, really great. And then we can get into things like cupping. I do cupping on occasion. I haven't done it in a while, but it's great. Massage, right? Lots of things. Even again, these are not on this document. I'm just kind of thinking about things. Trampolines, jumping, lymphatic work. Um, so there's lots of different things that we can do. Work on our diets, right? Optimize our fuel. So these are all things that we can work on. Recovery happens across four main domains: physical. So we have muscle repair, joint recovery, and tissue healing. Metabolic, blood sugar balance, hormone regulation, energy restoration. And we're just talking a little bit about hormones and blood glucose indirectly. Mentally, mental recovery, stress reduction, mental clarity, decision, fatigue recovery. Um, Emotional, could do a nervous system reset, connection, rest from caregiving and responsibility. Right, those are some different things that we can look at there. So we've talked a lot about our 7 daily primal needs. That's something I've chatted about for years now. Breathing, hydration, sleep, and food are the top four. I think those are often ignored, right? Breathing, hydration, sleep, and food. So right now we could be working on slow, deep recovery breathing. So many of you have heard from Sandra Kahn, my friend and colleague, who's the breathing expert, world-renowned orthodontist, multiple books she's authored with other Stanford professors. She has a technique called the uplock oral posture or uplock breathing, which utilizes a technique called the uplock oral posture. It's just simply, let's all do it together: mouth closed, lips closed, teeth closed, swallow, tongue goes to the roof of the mouth. So when the tongue is at the roof of the mouth, we're hitting an acupuncture point that creates calm. So slow, deep breath. So ideally, whenever we're hanging out, we're in need of calm, we can go to that uplock oral posture, simply swallow, relax your jaw, relax your mouth, teeth, and just breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Ideally, we're doing that most of the day. And if we train during the day, we will be more likely to do it at night rather than breathing out through our mouth at night, which is not the best for sleep quality. And we'll see our hormones probably balance a bit more. So she talks a lot about that, right? So but that's something we can do, right? That's probably number one. If we just breathe better, the whole physiology will calm down. So number two is hydrate, minerals. So when we think of hydration, we often think of water, but what can we do to get more water into the cells? That's where minerals come in. So if you don't want to spend money, I think it would be in our best interest to just put a little bit of a pinch of salt in our water. It doesn't have to taste too bad, just a little bit. So would it be better to use an electrolyte formula? Yes. But yeah, getting sodium, especially if you're sweating, can really be a key difference maker, especially if your scale is going up and down on a day-to-day basis. It's probably something to related to fluid retention. So just something to look into. At Lifetime, I love the product Hydrate. Nutridyne actually has a product called Hydrate as well. Totally different companies, but both are great. I do like LMNT. That's a very popular one. Tastes great. Pretty expensive, but it's got tons of sodium. I don't think it's appropriate for everybody. And I just spoke with a company today. I'm really thinking about getting this product that assesses your hydration. It is the first scientific instrument that I'm aware of that test your hydration in 10 seconds. I saw a post on Instagram from the Giants, San Francisco Giants dietitian, and they use this device. And I'm blank, I don't know the name of it right now. I talked to a company for an hour. I really want this thing. Every athlete gets tested twice a day on the Giants. They simply open up their mouth, test saliva, and they can tell you how dehydrated you are, and they can do another test as well. And then based upon that test, she'll give you water or more or less electrolytes. So pretty cool. That's where we are. This company is also, she said, working with, I think she said 10 or 13 of the World Cup teams.
Oh.
So anyway, I'm trying to get Lifetime to buy it, but I am going to consider getting it myself if Lifetime doesn't do it. It'll probably be something I want to get. It's about $1,500, but I really think would be amazing. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm in conversations with them, but I'm trying to get Lifetime to pay for it. We'll see how that goes. So, but yeah, so we can really figure out how dehydrated somebody is. Even if you're dehydrated by 1 or 2%, you're going to have brain fog. Like I was thinking about that today with you, Barbara. You're like, I'm tired.
Mm.
All right. Just so I don't, I mean, sleep is important. That's number three. But, how you doing? How are we doing with our hydration? And again, most people say, yeah,
Mhm.
I drank tons of water, but then they didn't have any electrolytes. All right. Well, it's not, you're not really hydrated. If you are, remember, if you're in a coma, you're, you're going to get a saline solution. It's not just water. You're not a water based system. We need salt, and people have been scared to death of salt. But we actually need salt. We just want higher quality salt. Right. And a little iodine is really important as well for most people. So iodine helps the thyroid function better. So that's not even in pink Himalayan salt for the most part. So having a little bit of a little bit of iodine can really help, get that metabolism to kick in a little bit better. Unless you eat seaweed and other things like that help. I don't eat that stuff. So not for me. Once in a while, seaweed. And maybe you should. Maybe you should buy some more seaweed. Right? If you'll eat it, go for it. All right. Sleep, one of the most powerful recovery tools. 7 to 9 hours of sleep quality drives growth hormone release. That's a real big one. So when we get growth hormone to be higher, we reduce visceral fat, we increase muscle, we're stronger, and we sleep deeper. So sleep, it's kind of like this cycle, right? If we get sleep, we increase growth hormone, but if we increase growth hormone, we get better sleep. So I have been taking a peptide called tesamorelin, which is similar to samorelin. And there's other peptides now, CJC. There's one other one I'm blanking on right now, but there's a number of them now. Um, so peptides are amino acid sequences that are very popular, right? GLP-1, which is, semaglutide, which is private labeled as um, Ozempic is one of the companies, right? That is targeting one receptor for weight loss, fat loss, blood sugar balance. That's a peptide, right? Insulin, been around forever. It's a different amino acid sequence, right? People have been doing it. Uh, Insulin, it's the 1960s, I guess. So a very important peptide that saved a lot of people's lives. Many of you are taking collagen peptides, an oral form of peptides used to enhance collagen synthesis, right? Repair of tissues, right? I take collagen almost every day in my coffee. My mother's been selling a collagen peptide source at her dermatology office for years, and that's topical. So peptides are in all these different things now. There's lots of peptides out there, but I'm taking one that enhances growth hormone, right, to help me sleep better. I'm not taking it right now, but I'll take it. What is it? It's can't remember now. 8 weeks? Can't remember now. Blanking. Get off a couple of weeks. You cycle it on and off. There's I gave a talk today. I talked to also on Thursdays. I talked to practitioners with my colleague. These are all practitioners who are physicians, chiropractors, naturopaths, and we talk peptides. So so I host a coaching call for his company. The two of us talk about a peptide of the week. This week, what was it? It was, am I blanking right now? It's a new one. Yes, here it is. It's Glow, GLOW. It's a peptide stack. It's a combination of GHKCU, which helps with skin, hair, and nails. So I was actually thinking about that one for you a long time ago, Barbara. I totally we
Mm.
talked about that briefly, but I don't think you wanted to do injections, so
Yeah,
it's
no.
not going to work. But I mean, that is the future, right? It's people are saying how amazing it is for skin. Um,
Mm.
even the people that I don't think really need it, like 30-year-olds, are taking this stuff, which is kind of mind blowing to me. But yeah, yeah, it's these see, 30-year-olds are taking a lot of things right now. They're doing fillers, right? They're making their lips bigger, their butts
Oh,
bigger.
yeah,
You spend
yeah.
where they getting the money for all this either. It's quite expensive with all this self-care. Um, but yeah, so this thing called Glow is a real popular peptide right now. It's got the GHKCU and something called BPC 157 and TB 100. And this is going to sound like a different language, but that BP7 157, BPC 157, TB 100 is known as the Wolverine stack. So you've heard me talk about it. That is an amazing one for pain and inflammation. I mean, that's
Mm.
probably the best peptide on the planet right now. That's way better than the GLP-1s for pain and inflammation. It's outstanding. And you might have heard me talk about my wife, who is literally a week away from workers' comp, had a shoulder injury for a year and a half, going to physical therapy, doing chiropractic care, cranial sacral. I'm working on her,
Oh, no.
not getting any better at all. She did it for 8 weeks with 30 days, zero pain now. It's crazy. I mean, it's remarkable. No side effects that we're aware of, and I took it as well. My hands were really hurting, and I'm pretty good right now. So I'm gonna incorporate that one more often. But so we have all these things, right? The one thing about growth hormone, we also need to remember is that high intensity exercise stimulates growth hormone. So kind of remember that. So what we did today, Barbara, we did for you, I think it was a little higher
Mm-hmm.
intensity than you're used to. We did rowing for like 20 seconds or so, right? 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you could do rowing, even because it's actually easy on the body, or say the bicycle, that the Airdyne bike, that one that,
Mm-hmm.
non-weight bearing,
Mm-hmm.
or even swimming for some people, if you can't jump and, do high intensity things, that increases growth hormone. Growth and hormone enhances sleep. So again, I'm just trying to give you other ways to enhance sleep because we need sleep, 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 sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, we are being consistent around our sleep. All right. But we need that sleep because we need to regenerate muscle. Very important. Okay. We need to regenerate our cells. Our nervous system is taxed, as I mentioned earlier. There's so much happening mentally and emotionally that is we're fatigued. Central nervous system fatigue happens. So this says be in bed by 10, awake at 6. I know that's really difficult. That is traditional, you know,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
times for sure. That is based upon light and dark cycles. And I
Yeah.
believe that is a real big one. Somebody just sent me some information recently, core about how genetically there's 9 genes that kind of determines whether you're more of a night owl or an early owl, whatever they call it now. Not an early owl, but you know what I mean. A night owl or an early lion. I don't know, whatever.
Early
But
bird.
early bird. There you go, the
Early
bird. Thank you.
bird.
Yeah, yeah. So apparently there is some genetic influence here as well. Who knows? But let's just try to get sleep. So, and I think the key thing is just being consistent. I think that's the key with
Mm-hmm.
everything because if like we can all argue, if I go to bed at 3 in the morning and wake up at, you know, whatever, like 12 noon, then I got 9 hours sleep. All right, yeah, sure. How do you feel? Are you feeling amazing? Maybe, but um, but then I'd say that's actually fine, but are you going to bed at 3 in the morning every morning? Or is it 3 in the morning, then 1 in the morning, then 5 in the morning? Like that's usually what people are doing, right? And that just doesn't ever go well. And I'll always remember this. I always mention this. My most difficult clients have always been firefighters, nurses, and paramedics. And anybody who has those night shifts, it's just hard. And most of the time, like even a firefighter, it's inconsistent, right? Like they work 3 days on, 4 days off, and it's like different 3 days. It's like it's a lot of inconsistencies. And then if your sleep's inconsistent, well, then your workouts are inconsistent. Then your food's inconsistent. So it's just a number of inconsistencies that happen. And I just know if I can get someone to be as consistent as possible, work out around the same time, their life is boring. I know it, but they're healthy, boring and healthy. If you want to just get healthy for a little while, just make your life boring for a little while. Right? Boredom is a good thing sometimes. And then get excited, go crazy, and then go back to boring. Go crazy, go back to boring. So that helps. All right, food. So food is key. Prioritize protein. 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight. There's a number of ways to look at that. So we talk a lifetime. We talk about 1 gram per pound of I should be 1 gram per pound of lean body mass. So for those of you at lifetime, you could look at the in body and look at lean body mass. That's how much protein you should have, 1 gram. But if you said like, I'm 150 right now, I want to be 120. That's another way to look at it. So it'd be like 120 grams of protein. Um, so I'm just going to keep it simple and say around 100 grams. 100 grams would be a good target for most people. Okay, let's think about that first. Minimize ultra processed foods. You can read the other things about relationships, number 5, number 6. Number 7 is movement. So we want to move. Okay. If we want to recover, we want to do things like walking, swimming, light stretching, foam rolling, massage, move every day, even on rest days, but let's move outside. So I want to touch on amino acids. I thought this was interesting. I learned this today, actually. Actually, I'm sorry, this week. So your body breaks down. This is really interesting to me. Your body breaks down 250 to 300 grams of protein every single day just to maintain what you already have. Now, when I first read that, I was thinking, God, how in the hell? And I gave a talk yesterday to the trainers here at Lifetime on this amino acids for a while. Um, and someone said, well, how is that possible? How could we ever be in a positive if we're always breaking down? I'm like, well, that's a good question. I have no idea because I'm not going to eat 200 grams of protein, right? It just would, you would never be able to catch up. So in further exploration of that question, I found out that yes, we're breaking down, but that protein in your body is recycled. It's kind of repurposed. So, you're like breaking down 300 grams of protein. This is, you know, based upon clinical science. It's not just a random number, actually. But let's say 200 grams or so. Actually, that's exactly where it came from. Now, 200 grams is recycled and reutilized to develop new cells and different things. So that's why we get this crazy equation. I've never known that before. Like 1 gram per pound of body weight or whatever it is, right? zero point 0.6 to zero point 0.8, you know, per pound of weight. So all those numbers came out because to replenish what we've lost. So most people are not going to eat enough protein. If you're vegan and vegetarian, for sure you're not. If you are fasting, you're just not. If you're on a GLP-1, starving, you're not. So over time, right? Like let's say you lose your negative 20 grams of protein today, you know, you know, roll that out a year, another year, another year. That's why we see people losing muscle mass as they age. Not and the fact that they're not doing strength training is not helping either. So just interesting, right? So you just kind of have to know, like, be realistic. Like if I'm not going to eat protein, then we have to figure out another way, right? So that's where collagen can help. Right? Collagen is not the perfect protein, but it's helpful. A whey protein is actually a better source of protein, but it's very difficult to digest. So that's the catch. I don't want whey protein personally, because even though it's a better source than, say, collagen, I feel bloated and gassy like many. So I just don't want to have it. Amino acids here now are the building blocks of the end product of protein. So when we consume a piece of chicken, our goal is to digest it, and then we get these essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids from the chicken. But if it's overcooked, I'm not really going to get all those amino acids. So this is where essential amino acid supplementation comes in now, is that it's already digested. It's easy to digest. It's got no calories. So you are essentially getting 30 grams of protein per se in one scoop of these amino acids, and you don't have to eat it. So it's, you can just, like, I'm actually having it right now. It's in my water. I'm just drinking it. You can have it before workout, during, after, but it's really, I mean, it's for several different populations. It's really could be really helpful if you, like, right now, I'm so sore because I didn't do anything last week, and working out, I'm actually super sore. So I'm sore because of breakdown of connective tissue. So that's going to help me build back up. That's just one thing, right? I still need to eat. So it does not replace food, but it can help. For my vegan friends, my vegetarians, like, really, absolutely, I would highly recommend this. Anybody who's fasting, highly recommended. People on GLP diets, because they are reducing their calories, we want to make sure we're eating enough protein. All right. So just think about that. Anybody under high stress, anybody with gut issues, something to think about. Okay. And you can read about here. This is specifically about the Lifetime product. Now, I think there's other products out there. Uh, I haven't even really looked into Designs for Health product or Nutridyne. I know they're good though. Like, so my other companies I work with are all clinical. I think the one key thing that I noticed was like what we want is a high, it's called leucine, Lucine, that is a very specific amino acid, essential amino acid that has the most science around muscle increases. So leucine. I don't think branch chain amino acids of the past had that focus. So I know the Lifetime product does, but I almost guarantee I love Designs for Health outside of Lifetime. So I guarantee they have it. The other thing is like even with Lifetime, there's like three of these or four of these. I think I know Glacier is one that's vegan for those who care, vegan, but like the earlier ones were non-vegan. So somebody might care about that. All right. So just something to consider there. What else? Sleep optimization. So yeah, so just you can just take a look at that. That is something that I've talked about quite a bit. Just something to consider from a ritualistic standpoint. If your goal is to get down, if your goal is to get to bed at 10, which mine is, turn your screens off no later than 9:30, start calming down. For me, I might want to have a peptide at that night at nighttime if I'm doing it. Or I might want to take some magnesium. That's a really good one. If I'm magnesium, I don't like magnesium citrate personally. I do better on, actually, I don't even do well on any magnesium, but I'm a fan of magnesium glycinate. That's doesn't have the GI effects, but I just don't do well on magnesium at all. So you can read all that later, but I hope this helps. Weekly recovery framework. So these are just different things that I do and think about. These are things that we can work on. So just let me know if you would like to dive deeper, but I will post this on on the school site. Okay. So hopefully that's interesting. I
Mhm.
personally thought the amino acids are interesting because I've it's not a minute in my top, I don't know, 15 things really. I mean, it's way down the list for me. Now I'm kind of rethinking that and yeah, could be a good one. All right. All
Mhm.
right, guys. We'll have a good
Right.
rest of your day.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Yep.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye bye.
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 Bye.